When identifying fact and opinion, we are essentially looking at the validity of a statement. Now, when we identify facts, there are certain questions that we should ask ourselves. And if the answer is yes to any or of all of the questions, then we are dealing with facts. The first one is whether the statement can be proved or demonstrated to be true. Yes, then it's a fact. Can the statement be observed in practice or in operation? Yes, fact. Can you see it happen? Yes. The basic word that you need to look for is, can you verify the statement? In any of these ways, if you can verify the statement, yes, it is a fact. Because you can look at witnesses who have seen it happen, you can consult manuscripts, you can look at documents, you can look at research, and all of those things can verify that this is indeed a fact. A few of such facts could be the following. Your heart pumps blood through your body. That is a fact. Nobody can deny it. It can be proven. Some people keep dogs as pets. We've all seen that. We have seen it in practice. It has been observed, and we all agree that it's a fact. 1 liter of water weighs 1 kilogram. That is also a fact. We can go and test it. We can go and try it out and measure, and we will get to the answer that that is indeed a fact. The third president of the United States was Thomas Jefferson. Can be proven. We can go and look it up. All sorts of research, manuscripts can prove to us that that is indeed true. Bali tigers are extinct. We can go and look it up. It is, in fact, a fact. Now, what about opinions? Now, obviously, opinions are the opposite of facts, mainly in terms of the verification of it. It cannot be verified. Now, when we look at certain statements, and we are trying to see whether they are opinions rather than facts, we look for 2 types of words. That is our first indicator. Diction. 2 types of words. And they will almost invariably have biased words within the statement. Things like something is bad, it is worse, it is the worst I've ever seen, it is good, it's better, best, worthwhile, it's worthless. There are opinions of value built into the statement, and those are subjective, and they cannot be proven. You can't go and find research to prove that. It's subjective observations. You also look for qualifiers. Qualifiers are words like all. You say all people are. They are always. They are likely to. They will never do this or that. They might do it. They seem to do it. Possibly they will do it, etc. Probably, should. These words are qualifiers that are clear indicators of subjective statements. In other words, of personal opinions. So, for instance, if you say, it is safer to live in Singapore than Japan, it is clearly your own opinion. The safer is a biased word. You are biased towards Singapore. The movie was boring. Once again, it was bad, it was worse. These are biased words. London is the worst city. Once again, a biased word. Typical indicator. I prefer, this word, in other words, has to also do with personal bias. I myself prefer this or that. Right. I prefer Leonardo DiCaprio to Robert Redford in the role of Gatsby. And it's controversial. It is debatable. I might not agree with you. Somebody else might agree with you. But that is the nature of opinion. The other thing we look for is kinds of statements. We look for 3 common types of opinion statements. Does the statement give your opinion or your position on a certain controversial issue? Remember, a controversial issue is one that can be debated. So if you have an opinion about it, more likely than not, many other people are going to differ from you. So it's controversial issues, also an indicator. Also look at predictions about things, or for instance, about the future, and evaluations of people, places, and things, because I might evaluate something in a certain way, you might do it in a different way. So here are some examples. We are slaves of technology, right? Personal opinion. Somebody else might not agree with me. If people don't stop polluting the earth, I see a very bleak future for mankind. It's a prediction about the future. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I see, can you see this objective point of view? Our current president, people, evaluations, our current president is the best. Can you see the biased word there? We have had in decades. So it's very clear to see the nature of opinions. Do you look for biased words? You look for anything that's controversial and personal and subjective. So when you try to distinguish then between fact and opinion, look at the basic differences. A fact can always be verified or proved in some way, but an opinion cannot be verified. It is not possible to verify my opinion about the future. How can we verify it? It cannot be verified. The fact will be rooted in objective reality, once again, verifiable, but the opinion is a subjective statement in the head of a certain person. It's a perception, cannot be verified. It's not objective, it is subjective. Facts are always based on observation and research, whereas opinion is based on assumption or on personal views. Now, once again, a few other indicators just to remind ourselves that facts represent something that really happened. It really happened. You can actually go and make sure whether it happened. It is sometimes, very often, a universally agreed on. It is something that everybody will agree that cannot be different. It is the case in the world how it is. It's universal, can be proven. And the fact is also not debatable, and it's expressed in unbiased words. Fine. Once again, opinions based on perception. It differs from person to person. It is debatable, and it is shown in biased words. So when you have to make that decision and answer a question on it, you must give specific reasons why you say that this is an opinion. And you can mention any of these aspects that we've mentioned and that are applicable on the specific text that you are given. Let's look at a very common, everyday piece of writing, something that you might say or that you might write. Let's have a look and see which of these sentences and statements are facts and which are opinions, and then we must give the reasons why we say so. So look at the first one. We attended a production of Macbeth at my sister's school. Now, this is the first statement. Can it be proven that you actually went to your sister's school and attended that production of Macbeth on a certain night? Do you have the tickets for it? Can it be verifiable? Yes, it can. So therefore, it has to be a fact, right? I verified it. It is a fact. Now you say it was an excellent production. Look at how the word excellent is biased and how it's like in the superlative, and it's so fantastic. It's your personal opinion. It's loaded with emotion. So it was an excellent production, personal opinion. So it is an opinion, right? The characters were so convincing, and the lady in charge of the garderobe did a sterling job. Now, you might not agree with the fact that the garderobe lady did an excellent job. You might have thought that the costumes were terrible. So you may not agree with the statement. So therefore, it is an opinion. Biased word. Can you see? Now, Macbeth is a tragedy written by William Shakespeare at the turn of the 17th century. All of these things can be verified in documents and through research. You can actually verify the statement and see that indeed it is a factual statement. The head boy was cast in the role of Macbeth. Is that a fact or an opinion? Well, if you do your research and you go and find out about the play, you might see that it is a fact that the head boy was indeed cast in that role. The person is not lying. He fitted into the role like a glove. Most certainly an opinion, because somebody else might not have liked his specific, the role that he played, or the way in which he portrayed the character. I believe, look at the subjective nature of it. This is the best, can you see? Biased. And the qualifiers, the best production the school has ever come up with. Ever. You see? These superlative expressions. The school has ever come up with. So this is most certainly somebody's very personal opinion. And well done opinion. I might not agree with you that it was well done. It's actually very easy to look at fact and opinion and decide for yourself which is which if you look at these indicators. Bye for now.